This thing's been haunting me for the past... Shit, how many months have passed since October? Oh, okay, 10 months. Okay, 10 months.
Do me a favor and watch the video, okay? Thanks, bye.
This thing's been bothering me for the past 10 months now, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. I wanted to make a proper video about this since no one has ever made one. Well, other than a guy making a review of it, and some weebs completely trashing on it, because majority of the videos that are being made about this is just a bunch of sad boy edits. And memes. Yeah, that's how I discovered this thing in the first place. So the title of this thing is called Why Are You Getting Out From There by... Well, let's just call him Mr. 74. If you're looking for the sauce, I'll probably put it in the thumbnail or in the title of the video.
I don't know, I'm still recording this.
So Mr. 74 is known for making a lot of NTR, so it wouldn't be much of a surprise to some certain groups of people. NTR itself is full of immoral shit, so expect a lot of bad things happening in the background being shoved down your throat. Now, this isn't as depressing as Metamorphosis, which I vowed to never ever read it again, but it's still a punch in the gut when you're reading it for the first time. So the story begins with two childhood friends playing at a park, and the girl makes a promise to the boy that they will marry each other when they grow up. Many years later, it's their high school graduation, and the boy wanted to give some flowers to the girl as a confession. Unfortunately for the boy, he sees the girl hanging out with another guy, so he leaves there completely disappointed, thinking that he won't ever get a shot with her again. And in this part of the story, we get to discover the boy's real name, Mi-noo. The girl approaches Mi-noo and proceeds to cheer him up, not because he didn't get a shot with her, but because he didn't pass his university entrance exam. They both proceed to take a picture with each other, and that they'll see each other the following year in university when he passes the entrance exams. A year later, Mi-noo finally passes his entrance exams, and in this part of the story, we get to know the real name of the girl, Gia. He tries to meet up with Gia, but he doesn't know how to, since she changed her phone in the meantime. Then suddenly, a blonde-haired girl named Sayun offers to help Mi-noo on Gia's whereabouts, since they both share the same classes with each other. Later that day, they both arrive on Gia's apartment, and Mi-noo is really nervous on meeting her again for the first time in over a year. This is where shit gets real interesting. The door opens. Mi-noo doesn't know what to expect next, and the door opens wider. And who do we see? Gia! Nope, no, you're wrong. Who do we actually see? A hunk guy, and Mi-noo's completely confused. The next person to step out of the door is Gia, with almost no clothes on. Mi-noo becomes shocked, and so is his childhood best friend. He puts two and two together and he understands what's going on. They are doing the act right in front of his very eyes. The hunk asks Mi-noo if he is Gia's best friend, and he introduces himself to be Choi Shi-hoon. Both of them kept on doing the act, and Sayun tells them to have some decency because they're in front of an upperclassman, and Mi-noo agrees with Sayun. But Shi-hoon, the Chad that he is, drags Sayun into the bed and proceeds to undress her. Now that no one's on his side anymore, Mi-noo is forced to watch Sayun and Gia being pounded by this fucking Chad. Holy shit, man, give this boy a break, come on. As he watches his best friend, Mi-noo starts to tear up and eventually cries as the memories of his childhood starts to pour in. The happy memories, the short moments they've made, and the image of his innocent, sweet best friend is forever tainted in his eyes. He couldn't accept the fact that they've both already grown up, and the promise that they've made when they were kids is completely gone and forgotten. And just like that, he leaves. He apologizes to Sayun that he cannot bear the pain that he's witnessing right now. And just like that, Sayun finally gives in to Shi-hoon, and this is where the story ends. Alright, so what do I think about this story? Well, reading it for the first time, like I said before, it's a punch in the gut. But reading it again, it is complete dog shit. Like, first of all, she makes a promise to Mi-noo that they'll marry each other when they grow up. It's funny to me how she was the one who created the promise in the first place, but completely forgets it once they've grown up. You think she'll remember her promise many years down the line? I don't fucking think so. They don't even have an established relationship in the first place. They're still just friends. It could have happened, but Mi-noo just completely dejects himself from the situation when she saw her with another guy. Also, instead of just watching them having sex and completely agonizing yourself, just leave immediately. There's no point at hurting yourself in the first place, and it's just gonna be worse once they're already finished. Oh yeah, and there's also 3 more pages left, which involves all of the 3 getting in, but it's not really making things any better. Overall, it's a shit story, and all of the 4 main characters are idiots. So, Mi-noo, Ji-ah, Shi-hoon, and Sa-yoon are complete doo-doo brains. If I was going to rewrite the whole thing, I would add and change some things and give it some backstory, especially with Mi-noo. To be specific, him living in a bad home environment, being bullied at school, and him having a bad mental state. And the only way that he could escape the bad things that is surrounding him is by going to the playground and hanging out with his best friend, Ji-ah. He meets Ji-ah when she sees him being bullied by a bunch of kids and completely saves the day by defending him. They eventually became close friends and they would always hang out no matter what. Eventually, high school comes around and Mi-noo starts to develop feelings for Ji-ah. Later on, he eventually confesses his feelings for Ji-ah, which Ji-ah accepts, and the both of them get into a relationship. Finally, an established relationship. It's their last day of their high school. Mi-noo and Ji-ah decided to study hard for their university entrance exam. Ji-ah manages to pass the exam, and unfortunately for Mi-noo, he doesn't. Knowing that he failed his university entrance exam, Mi-noo has no choice but to repeat the school year again. And with this, Ji-ah parts their ways with Mi-noo and say their goodbyes to one another. Now, we get to switch to Ji-ah's perspective. It's her first semester, and college wasn't too nice for her. Every time she studies, it feels like there's a heavy baggage that she's always carrying. We fast forward a little bit, and it's their finals. Ji-ah hasn't slept in 3 days due to submitting a lot of projects. And in this part of the story, we get to meet Shi-hoon. Shi-hoon asks Ji-ah if she needs help with her studies, in which she agrees because she's been struggling throughout the whole semester. And boy oh boy, little did we know that these were the seeds for disaster later on in the story. They both started studying, but Shi-hoon has other plans. You see, Ji-ah was attractive, and Shi-hoon used this as an opportunity to study with her and earn some pounds sterling, if you know what I mean. Shi-hoon becomes playful, Ji-ah gives in, one thing led to another, and they became fuck buddies. Ji-ah becomes pissed with the series of events that happened that she kicked out Shi-hoon from her apartment, but deep inside, she's actually enjoying it. Sometime later, it's their finals again, and Ji-ah invited a friend over. Her name is Sa-yoon. Shi-hoon wanted to study with Ji-ah again, but she refused, and he begged her that he will take it seriously this time. She believed him and agreed. The 3 of them actually studied, and when Sa-yoon left, Ji-ah told Shi-hoon to stay. She admitted that she enjoyed doing it with Shi-hoon the first time they did it, but was ashamed after what happened, and so she asked him if they wanted to do it again. He agreed. They did it again! Some time has passed, and Mi-noo finally entered the university that Ji-ah is attending, and we switch back to his perspective. The events leading up to the disaster is still the same, although the only difference is that Mi-noo and Ji-ah's relationship becomes more impactful and meaningful. I think. I don't know. Alright, let's treat it like a video game. Let's give it some multiple endings. Just like the original ending, Mi-noo leaves the apartment and we get to see the last 4 pages of the story. But this time, we get to see Mi-noo's decline. He's more devastated than he already is, and his mental health gets more worse than it already is. The good ending is where Mi-noo just moves on and continues on with his life. He seeks therapy and has a new group of friends that will support him no matter what. The good plus ending, not only does he seek for help, has a new group of friends, but also has a new girlfriend and starts a band with this new group of friends. Very wholesome. The bad ending is the same as the normal ending, although the difference is that, think DDLC Act 1 ending, but with Gia crying at the end. The bad plus ending is the same as the good plus ending. The only difference is, despite everything that made him happy, Mi-noo's inner demons still take a toll on him, and that the memories of the past still lingers on in his mind, which drives him completely crazy. Gia is replaced with Mi-noo's new girlfriend, and that Gia only discovers that Mi-noo is gone a day later. Then, there's a whole ass funeral procession for Mi-noo, with his friends still completely devastated, and so is his girlfriend, Gia, still shocked, Sayun feeling guilty for not helping Mi-noo, and Chi-hoon feels like he's the most biggest piece of shit ever. It ends with Gia approaching on Mi-noo's tombstone, looking at it, starts to sob, and says, "I'm sorry." In conclusion, it sucks to be in Mi-noo's shoes knowing that his best friend doesn't give a shit about him anymore. If I was him, I would just let go from the past honestly. No point at holding on to something that's not even worth holding on to anyways. I would just keep on going with my life, just move forward, and never look back. I kind of regret making this video.